If you come to Tanzania, people rarely care about their data because their data, we feel like our data are not that much worthy comparing to the device itself. So we need our device, not our data. So yeah, there is this context in Tanzania when we're deploying these measures. Well, we need to contextualize, or what do people want in Tanzania? And when you start to exploring it, you should also remember that there is a 20% people living in urban, those are kind of educated, and there is 80% of people in the rural. These are the people, we see them on the social media, right? And we see their behavior pattern, what they're doing in social media. Now, how can you tell that guy your data is important than your device? There is this. And if you're building something for business, commercial, 80% is the potential than the 20%. And the 20%, to my point of view, has already covered by the providers themselves. Because how to protect data is mostly already deployed in our devices. Now, how to protect the devices themselves from attacks, especially based on our behavior, because most of these risks are coming from our behavior. And one thing that we usually ignore, most of us tunapokuja kutengeneza security measures, we are going to advance the security measures, deploy blah, 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 build most of these advanced measures to detect blah, 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 blah. But we are forgetting the user. And the user is the one that exposes the device. You may put all the measures you want in a company, but if employees are not well educated, they will keep clicking these links, they will keep doing all random stuffs, and then you keep being attacked and attacked and attacked. So if you can tap a potential that targets the user, then that is a big deal, I think, to businesses. But again, if you can target the 80%, what does the 80% want? That is a big deal into business. Well, there is a long story there. Now, this talk was mostly how we can do threat modeling. And when I was talking, I was trying to cover threat modeling, how we can identify these attacks, how can we figure out what is the threat and what is not, and how we can mitigate them. I feel like AI has a huge potential from classifying threats to non-threats activities. And some of studies have already doing that, and some implementation have already done it. But now, how can we contextualize it in Tanzania? And how can we do it in Tanzania? And how can we do it, or how can we make it a business? One of its potential is the speed, because when you deploy a model in a smartphone, you're pretty sure that it will be faster than others. I told you about my security measures to detect fake access point. I needed at least 10 seconds to collect information, but that is just too much, because wallet authentication is done in a matter of seconds. And if it's that, not second, milliseconds, sorry. If it's a matter of milliseconds, and then your measure is doing it in 10 seconds, that's just stupid measure. There is an issue also of accuracy. Accuracy will mainly be based on the amount of data that you used to train your model. If you used the good data, then the accuracy will really be good. If you used irrelevant data, then your solution might be bogus. So there is also those aspects to look into. AI gives us also an ability to predict attack vectors. Sometimes it's just using our own skills is just difficult to detect that there is an attack vendor. But if you deploy an AI agent in your device, most likely you are going to succeed on this. There are a few examples here. I didn't even look at them, but you can try to take a look. But this is a huge business. And you also asked me to look at the startups. I did do that, because if you look at the startups online, most of what they call themselves is startups, into our context, they're not startups anymore because they are this big. And startups, in our point of view, is totally different. Now, does AI have potential in phone tracking? I think we can agree, yes. We have looked from behavior pattern, facial recognition, and others. If you put a combination of all these, then you can get something really, really nice. But as I said earlier, this will be impossible if you do not link with the hardware. And hardware is not my expertise, but I know at least you really need to link with the hardware. And in this case, we are focusing on Android devices because we do not have much of access in iPhone devices, and they are totally reserved. So there are several ways. One of success stories would want you to focus on features that remain functional even when the device is off. One thing that we know, engineers may support me or quote me, one of the devices that remain functional even when the device is off is the battery itself. It does not entirely die, right? It does not entirely die. But now there is this Bluetooth mesh networks. You can always access it, but there is limitation. Battery has limitation to its life. Bluetooth, it has limitation to the range it can reach, the amount of data it can transfer. But also, can we use mobile networks that we have to detect? I think yes. But again, most mobile networks are commercial, right? And when you want to use them, there comes an issue of privacy again. Who can trust you to track their devices? But if you can win a deal to sign a contract with these major mobile devices that you want to deploy this service, then yeah, it's a big deal. But are they ready? So there are a lot of questions that um, are posed as we search for appropriate solution, but also there are a lot of opportunities. It depends how much you're ready to tap into opportunity and blah 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 blah. Well, how much a startup can do. This information is just preliminary information. It's just technical. But a good startup needs, I think it needs more of business skills than technical, because technical and technologies are here. But can you win the business? What about legal restrictions? Because when you speak of cybersecurity, now we're speaking of privacy. And then now we're speaking of surveillance services. The government has interest in it. Do you have a room, Kutoboa? So there are two sides here, technical sides and other side, the business side. And probably the business side has huge potential than the technical side to make the product work. If we are in research, then yeah, it's fine. In research, you can just prototype, publish, that's it. No one cares. But deploying it, making it a business, then there is a need for huge business skills. And I think here, Frank, I think somehow you're inviting business people that can speak about how we can really venture with our startups. Thank you very much. This is what I've prepared. I'll be open for questions, like we have 3 minutes. Thank you very much, guys. Frank, I'm not sure if you're following. If not, if there is any question, I'll be open to questions, and then before we can close.
Okay, I'm following, watching closely. If there is anyone in YouTube live, any question. So I guess I'll ask lastly. I'll wait for people to ask, then I'll ask. I have some few questions.
You already have questions. Okay, your personal questions, right?
Okay, I think I can ask my question. Am I free to ask?
All right, fine. Proceed.
Yeah, okay. So in previous presentations, we talked on when opening the event, we had a few case studies of, I mean, examples, maybe pain points, sharing pain points on what it feels to lose a device, and you think or you believe it's findable. You can track it and maybe get it, retrieve it, but unfortunately, maybe the authorities or what they can't help you with that. So we shared a lot of pain points on that field, and we saw how much people are willing to spend to get the device. And supporting what you said or you presented, that I don't think it's only Tanzania. I think a huge chunk of the world is more concerned on the device more than the data in the device. So I think about data, maybe Americans and Europeans, but I don't think Indians, Africans, most of them. I mean, there are a few Africans, there are a few Indians, wealthy enough, maybe politicians, maybe famous people are worried about their data, but maybe 99% of the people are really wary of their devices more than the data inside the devices, because there is nothing there in the devices, just nothing the thief can use in the device as to what. So many security measures in those devices, maybe iPhones and what, they are very much targeted into data and not the device. And we want to actually get our devices. We don't care about the data. Okay, we can protect the data, that those security measures are already there. We can protect the data. So my question is, when you power down the iPhone, maybe iPhone, I'll refer that one, you'll find a message there. Maybe it died due to battery or something else. You'll find a message says iPhone is findable when it's powered off. But when you use Find My Device, you can't see it when it's powered off, and still it says that it's findable. Is there maybe a tool that can help someone find when it's powered off? Or is there someone who can do that?
All right. It was also one of my concerns one day. So I'll give you a scenario. One day I lost my AirPods, right? Yeah, you all know AirPods, right? So these also, they say they are findable, like piece after piece. If you lost a single piece, you can still track it. So I dropped it somewhere, one piece, and then I had only the box and the other piece. When I was looking at my phone, it shows me where it is, but it was dark, and again it was kind of lost, and I feel like it fell kwenye mtaro or something, mitaro ya maji taka ile ambayo imezibwa juu. You cannot kutoa ule mfuniko uingie huko ndani, you are not the authority. So I left it there, going home nikisema I'll come the other time, check for it. I came home, I forgot, almost 3 days. So for obvious reasons, kile AirPods kitakuwa kimeisha batteries, ndio, but this time it will be off. But it was also limited. Like it was not as certain like what was the last time we saw it active. But yeah, I pinpointed the location, luckily, because it's just the earpiece, so it was not moved out. I went and I saw it. 3 days later. The idea that you can find the phone even when it's off, it's valid. What I think there is a limitation, it might be first, maybe the configurations or authority limitations, because these devices, there are some features that you can access in Tanzania. There are features that you cannot access in China. There are features that you access to the other place because of limitations. Because surveillance is not always supported. Even if you're tracking your own device, if they are tapping some of wireless signals, then there is a limit. I'm not an expert in wireless, but in telecommunication, but you may agree to me, if there are engineers, there is licensed bands and unlicensed bands. And the strength is highly on licensed bands. If we are using licensed bands, then we have freedom to get whatever we want. With unlicensed bands, they're free to use. Nakutana na Bluetooth na wireless, but there are limitations against it. These measures again goes back to battery, Frank. Now the battery has limitations. There is a time it will die. Forget about this main battery. There are other batteries that will still hold some of your information. The battery that helps you to boot up your device, because that's totally not related to the main battery. The battery that is connected to the firmware of the device. That now may help us track our devices. So I think there is still limitation. Yes, we're supposed to do it, but there is a limitation. Now, what are these limitations? It's something I also need to dig into it. And because I've never tried to find my phone when it is lost, so I do not have a practical experience that something will work out or not. I know you have experienced this. So, yeah, it's a question of really trying to explore. I'm not Satan, Frank. But theoretically, it's supposed to do it. And if you look at the details on how they implement it, it's supposed to do it. And I'm not sure if I'll give you the response. I'm not sure it's not what you wanted, but yeah, I'll leave that the explanation.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I got the right explanations for the question. And yeah, the event is targeting that people create some kind of software like that to help us pinpoint our devices that adheres to the regulations of the country, and then we can, yeah, something like that. Yeah, sure. So that
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. When I graduated immediately, me and my friends, we were trying to develop same kind of service, tracking device for phone. But we are the software geeks. We do not know anything about hardware. And when you get to hardware, you cannot simply open an iPhone and tag your device there, right? The tracking device. Because when you open phone, it's already compromised. If there is warranty, the warranty is broken, and there is a lot of stuff there. So we were limited from there. So how can we get past of this? If you can build a very tiny object, very tiny tracking object, and it is possible, program it. There is, okay, we already program micro devices, right? If you can do that and tag into device to a place where it cannot be seen, neither can it be removed easily, you're good to go. Micro device. Or a software that will benefit from built-in hardware resources. Like how we mentioned Bluetooth mesh and some other devices are so frank you mentioned in one of the adverts, right? If there is a way an app can have access to those devices, then yeah, it's entirely possible. It has been a while I've explored what access we have with the smartphones. But if it is possible that you can access one of crucial hardware devices, then yes. If not, that means you need to build your own hardware device. That again, a different story, right? Oh, all right, Frank. I see also Rendo, Rendo Snowden. I like your name, especially the Snowden part. Okay. Where can you get the publication? Okay, the publication is just online, and Google Scholar, you can easily search my name or just search a fake AP detector, or just share the slide and then you can easily search the exact information. You should be able to get it from Google. I've described code that's still available online. They should be. But again, running the source code in your own digital set, I promise you, you're going to hustle. But yeah, it should be possible. Right, Rendo? I hope that's satisfactory. Thank you. That's all from me. Okay, thank you very much, Snowden.
Thank you very much. We are 10 minutes past our time limit, and this was our third presentation from opening of the event. I hope you guys got some useful insights that will help you with your innovations and getting your startups. Yeah, I'm reminding that this is not a competition. This is an event that helps you get your startup and to fund the startup. So yeah, don't think of being the first or the second or the third. Think of creating a mature product that's investable and it'll give you the money, the funds to make your startup. So even if it's 3 startups, 5 startups, 10 startups, if you are innovation, your startup, your team is investable, you'll get the funds necessary to get your startup started. Yeah, thank you very much. We have um, more time to come. I mean, more sessions to come. Many presenters, and maybe we'll get Lonozo one more time before the event ends because it's like a 3 month program. Um, yeah, thank you very much. Maybe anyone would like a word, would like a chance to speak before we close our session and hope for tomorrow. Okay, let me see in YouTube if someone is. Yeah, if you're watching over YouTube, you just drop down in the comments the live chat, and then we'll be able to see and address it. Okay, I don't see any question here in the chat, YouTube chat. Thank you very much. Oh,
Rendo is raising my hand.
Rendos has a question. Ask. Our instructor is still here.
Swali langu alipo sana kwenye jamii ya leo, yaani tangu jana nilikuwa nauliza kwamba nani document ile ya tata kuwa kuna topic tatu na hiyo AI, cyber security, contracting na affiliate marketing. Sasa nashindwa kuelewa kwamba ni startup zinatoka kibezi katika haya maeneo au any other startup. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the question. Thank you for reminding.
Frank, I think that was your question, huh?
Me. Yeah, he asked something that he asked yesterday. So I think I replied to it, but I forgot to remind the team to send the necessary documents. So we will share today, and maybe a few minutes after ending this session, all the necessary documents that will help you understand what exactly the event is all about and innovation points. So to remind just shortly, it's about creating a tracking device and an affiliate marketing platform, an independent affiliate marketing platform. So those are two problems that we'll be solving all over this event and coming up with startups. So those will be your the products that will help you in starting your company. So it's a founding product, it's a startup founding product, I can say that one. Yeah, so I think I responded to that. Maybe if there is a question that is directed to our presenter, then
Hello. I just saw I just saw this one post from broken from your account in Instagram, and it says quit programming if you can't solve this, if you can't program to track the lost devices. And following the presentation of today, if I can't create a software to track the devices, maybe I can create one to secure the data. There are some organizations, they have this potential information. Say, let's say someone left with a computer from the office and lost it. We need this company will concentrate its energy to secure the data than it could to secure the device. Maybe we can reduce the scope. It's yeah.
You're okay. I'll call you Pi. Thank you, Pi. Frank, you have work to do there about your promotions, right? But I think, again, it will go back to Frank. What are they aiming to achieve, or what are they aiming to get? But these are security measures. There are different levels. You may design it in terms of just a method for detection, or develop an actual product. Now, as I said earlier, we do not have a problem with technology. Technologies to use, they're there. We need like to find the combinations. And if you cannot do it, there is someone who can do it really good, no worries. But method of getting all of this together, like having accomplished the tool, or even figuring out a business opportunity. For instance, there has been some organizations which are really championing the BioD, bring your own devices. So people are using the mobile devices or their own devices at workplaces. In this kind of setting, an organization have fully access of their devices. So developing a security measure for specific organization, it should be an easy approach, because now you have access to lots of information, including hardware and data, because the company is the sole owner of the hardware and data. And so you can manipulate the devices however you want. If given that is the opportunity, then yeah, you have a room to do something. Okay, that is one of the exploration area, but there are so many other opportunities to which you can tap into. You do not need, as an individual, you do not need to program. Sometimes you just need to be able to think and discover. You literally find a program.
Okay.
Hi, I'm not sure if that was sufficient.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Frank, are you still here?
yeah, I'm still here. So I was just trying to think about what she said. Good programming, if you can solve it. Yeah, I should, because what programming is for if you can solve problems that are around you. So basically, if you see all security measures in devices right now, I'm basically targeting. I was discussing with one of my friend who is in security. I won't say anything there, but what we were discussing is, you see, a lot of security measures in devices, mobile devices, are are made for maybe Europeans and Americans, and not all those people, not all Americans and Europeans, but mostly um, maybe the top 1% of the Americans, someone who can buy maybe an iPhone 16 Pro, and it's stolen. They're just worried about the data, and they don't give a shit about the device itself. But when it comes to the other remaining percent, you buy that kind of a device, it's like a soul to you. You are willing to gamble with data and protect the device more than anything. So there is no security measure for you. There is only security measure for that person who can buy 2 or 3 smartphones of that price. So this is why we want you guys to bring solutions to us. Someone like me, and I don't know if you or other people like me, who are more worried on their devices than the data. If you find a Tanzanian owning maybe a 500,000 Tanzanian shillings smartphone, that person is possibly cannot buy 2 devices of that kind. It's like they spend almost all of their savings to buy that device. Or if they didn't spend, it means their spending power in buying mobile devices is at the limit. So they can't buy another one when it's lost, or they can buy a lower version when it's lost. So we want you guys to come with solutions that are targeting us, and this is a very huge market. People are willing to spend a lot of money to get their devices. So I believe you can work with the government and authorities to bring these solutions. I think they're more worried about these regulations because the technologies of tracking are from other countries. So maybe they're worried about security measures, maybe national sovereignty or something like that. But when it's inborn and you talk to you work with the government maybe and authorities or laws or whatever, this is very possible. And millions, billions of people, black or white, are crying today from losing their smartphones, their computers. Yeah, I think you understand. You see how big the market is, and I believe you can do it. Nothing is impossible. So I think there is no other question. Our presenter is still waiting a couple minutes.
Thank you. Can do a lot. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll leave the session to presenter. Then if there is nothing, then yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Frank. Thank you for having me. It has been a good opportunity tap-ins because it has also been a while. Like for the past 1 year, I've really measured in data management. There is also a huge stake there. Before I get into data security again, there is a huge stake there. So it has been nice having you, and thanks for having me with you. Thank you very much. Hoping to see you soon in another event. Ciao, ciao.